And I know that what he did, vouching for me like that, probably, it definitely saved them coming and trying to fuck me up or kill me. And I've never forgotten that. I used to tell my kids in Arizona that story. And I said, if it wasn't for Johnny, I don't even know if I'd be here right now. I was scrappy and I was a fighter, but I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not going to deal with an entire prison gang. They send enough torpedoes at you. If prison taught me anything, it taught me that I am not as tough as I thought I was. I am not the meanest son of a bitch walking through the valley. And it taught me that it does not matter who you are. Inside of that fence and in those walls, anybody can be killed. Anytime you enter, there is a chance you will not leave. It was a place of intense violence. And it was not somewhere, it's not glamorous like you see on television. It's not cool. It's an ugly, violent world where there is no love. Nobody cares if you fucking live or die. And if you're a type person that likes running your mouth and then running, got bad news for you. There's nowhere to run. In Illinois, there's this guy, he fucked over this organization, snitched on them. They went up in PC, killed a guard, went in PC, and they killed him while he was in protective custody. There is nowhere you can run and hide. They move you. It used to be a little more open within the prison walls, down on Front Street and all that. Now they herd you from cage to cage to cage. There was a time like every year the bikers would have a picnic. They'd have Harley Davidsons out on the yard. All the organizations had a picnic. But it's changed. And believe me, a picnic out on the yard is not worth going to prison over. If you weren't in a gang, if you were a neutron, they had 1 or 2 phones out on the yard for neutrons. This was before tablets and cell phones. And if you fucking weren't in a gang and the phones were all being used, you had to go to a gang. Each gang had their own phones that were theirs. And if you weren't in that gang, you did not touch that phone unless you paid money for that right. It was, that's how I can describe prison the best. It's a place where there is no love. None. But Johnny matters to me. He always have. And I do feel like I owe him something. So I'm always there for him. He got out this time, got a nice truck, was doing great. And then he started fucking up again. Got his truck taken from him. I gave him a vehicle. I love Johnny. He's my brother. He's not my friend. He's my brother. And there is a huge fucking difference. Huge difference. In my hierarchy, I've got brothers at the very, well, my wife at the top. Then my brothers. Then I've got friends. And then I've got associates. And the rest are people I don't even know. but I don't hand brother out too often. But I can say the ones I have handed that title to have been true blue 100% all the way down the line. It's like Johnny, they come to him wanting him to snitch on people. And Johnny said, you motherfuckers, he told me, he said, Mark, I told him, you motherfuckers know me better than that. I ain't been snitching my whole life. What the fuck am I going to start now, you know? But, yeah, so today's going to be a good day. I get to spend time with my friend, but it's going to be a bad day because I know in my heart this will probably be the last time I ever see Johnny free. And he don't really even have people left. If he would die in prison, there'd be nobody. I'd have to get the brothers to pitch in and try to bury the motherfucker, or he'll end up in a prison graveyard. So it's going to be a good day, but it's going to be an extremely fucking emotional day for me. You know, I left home running away and getting locked up in institutions and shit at 15. And my family, my biological family, they don't really know who I am, and I don't really know who they are. And my family was those guys. We was all scarred up kids, and when one didn't have, the other did, and we took care of each other. Family ain't always, if you got the same DNA, that makes you kin. Family's the motherfuckers. It ain't about the same blood. It's about the ones that are willing to bleed with you when you need them. And it hurts my heart that my biological family, that we're not close, but there's nothing I can do about that. I have to just keep moving forward. When I die, that'll be the one thing that I will not be at peace with, is that me and my father, I died without me and my father talking. He made a lot of mistakes as a father. A lot of mistakes. He didn't teach me how to be a man. How to treat women, a lot of things, but he's still my father. And despite everything, I love him. But I'm not gonna let, I was the whipping boy, I was the scapegoat, and I took that shit for a long time because I loved my father. But when people start in on my wife, no. I'm not going to have anybody disrespecting my wife and being ignorant to my wife. My father didn't protect his children, but I'll protect my family. And you're not going to hurl insults and launch attacks on my wife. You're just not going to do it. So, whenever I was a kid, I didn't deal with it positively. I stayed drunk, stayed high, and I don't like feeling hurt. So I converted all that hurt into anger, because anger and violence were emotions I was very familiar with. And the only way I could see to deal with it positively now, on the original channel I had, that was my message, you know. Whenever we're kids, we might go through some horrible things, some really bad things that hurt, but you gotta deal with it positively. If you deal with it negative like I did, you continue to be a victim. Except now, it's not them hurting you, it's you hurting yourself. The way you become a survivor is you deal with it positively and you succeed in life despite what they did to you. That was my main message. And I can't give that message out and not live by it myself. So only way I can deal with it positively, and I've looked at the chessboard from every fucking angle. I have forgiven my stepmother so many times. And it'll start right back up again. It never ends. And I'm to the point, one of my strongest things is I know who I am, I know myself, and I'm honest with myself. And I am at the end of my patience with the shit. And I know me. I will take no more shit. I will match shout for shout. I will match punch for punch. So knowing that, the only way I see to deal with all of this positively is to detach. Because she says something ignorant to me or my wife, I will tell her to go fuck herself. And then my dad has no choice but to respond to that. And before I let that man beat me, I'll do whatever I have to win. And I don't want it to come to that. And if it did come to that, it would be at a family get-together. My family's had enough pain. They don't need that kind of shit. So I stay away, and I'll die alone, except for Amy. And the few brothers I got left alive still. Most of my brothers were in the ground and dead before they were 35 years old. So all you young people that want to live that wild lifestyle that looks so cool in Hollywood, in the movies, and on TV, that's what you got waiting for you. Prison, the graveyard, or both. Hollywood's got a way of making it look cool. All that gang-banging bullshit. A lot of young people want to be a part of something. You're gonna watch a lot of people you love die. And there's no positive thing at the end of the road for you. There's a few rappers that make it out, but not many. I heard so many black men in county jails and prison that could fucking sing. And I mean, they could blow like anybody you'd hear on the radio. Extremely talented. I told one guy one time, I said, what the fuck are you doing in here, man? You can sing like that? And he said, well, there ain't enough room up top for everybody. And I mean, he could sing. And, you know, joining that prison organization, it did help me with the problem I was having. But I did not know what I was getting myself into. In a prison organization, the brutality goes up greatly. You can't just drive by somebody's house spraying bullets at them. You got to get up close, personal, and show steel up in them. And they put me, because when the guy that hooked me up, he said, you know, Johnny said, you're good with the knife. And that's what I was known for on the streets. I said, I guess so. And he looked at me and said, you want one? And I looked at him. I looked over both shoulders. I looked back at him. I'll never forget it. I said, do you have two? And he started laughing. He said, that's what Johnny said you was going to say, something like that. And they put me on security and on enforcement. I violated people need to be violated, took care of that kind of stuff. And anytime the way we moved, the bars would roll, step out in the gallery, we'd group up, and we would walk in a line together. That's a security line. Back then, you can be guaranteed there's somebody in that line, at least one person, has a knife on them. and you get near that line, try to walk through it, they will stab you to death. Something that simple could get you killed in there. And I was a security and an enforcer. And nobody rides for free. You're not going to sign up for an organization like that and just ride for free. They will test you. And you're going to have to live with some things that will cost you sleep at night if you have any kind of heart at all. So I have mixed feelings on it. It might have saved my life, but you know, it is what it is. And a guy named Demel Hanna has a YouTube channel. He really helped me forgive myself for a lot of things. He did 17 years, same state I did, but the Innocence Project got him out. He was a black man, wrong place, wrong time. And Demel Hanna is the man that got me to forgive myself and stop beating myself up all the time. And I love him for that. In prison, we'd have been enemies. His organization, my organization. But I think the world of the man. And he helped me. He said, you know, you always said you couldn't forgive yourself. He said, now I know you're a flag holder. He goes, I can imagine. He goes, because I had sent him my paperwork. And he said, what'd you send me this for? And I said, I want you to let you know I ain't full of shit. And he goes, I already checked up on you. He said, and you're certified. He said, let me tell you something, man. You was in the jungle. You was trying to make your outdate. You did what you had to stay alive. And that helped me a lot in forgiving myself for some things. But I'm going to go spend time with my friend now. But much love to all of you. God bless. Nothing but respect.